So the Today Show has decided that they're going to air the second part of their interview with AH. The first part of this thing, it went terribly for them. It ended up trending worldwide, but for all the wrong reasons. And this, I'm sure, it's going to be more of the same. Now, I'm not looked through this either, so we're going to go through this thing cold. I think that's the best way to do it. Oh, this is going to be fun times. You know it is. It's going to be fun times indeed. So hey there, by the way, let's just get started.
For 6 weeks, the defamation trial between her and Johnny Depp was hard to ignore. Every accusation aired for the world to see, and reaction on social media getting billions of views. Well, after the verdict, largely in favor of Depp, Heard called it a setback for other women who wanted to speak up. And now
weaponizing identity. Let's see. She's going to say that she's going to end up getting sued or something like that. You know she is, even though she won't be quiet. I want to move on with my life, but let's see.
She says she fears other potential defamation lawsuits from her ex-husband as she looks to move forward.
Yeah, see, it's always, I'm going to move forward. That is the talking point. You know, I want to move on, but he won't let me. And then she does interview after interview, of course.
There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Look at her trying to pretend that she can emote. I mean, it comes across so poorly. Just watch her facial expressions for a minute. Oh, she's trying to pretend panic, you know, because she thinks that this is what PTSD looks like. And it doesn't, by the way. This is not what PTSD looks like.
I know he promised it. I testified to this. I'm not a good victim, I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim. But when I testified, I asked the jury to just see me as human and hear his own words, which is a promise to do this. It feels...
Did you see that bad cut, by the way? Did you just hear that bad cut? By the way, the jury, she asked them to see her, and they did. They saw her perfectly.
As though he has.
Amber Heard reflecting on the ripple effects of her tumultuous trial with Johnny Depp. Having been found liable, are you nervous as we are here today about what you can say now?
Of course. I took for granted what I assumed was my right to speak.
Again, she's going back to that free speech. I had free speech. You don't have free speech when it comes to making up things and destroying other people's lives. People like her have taken that for granted. There are a lot of people that have taken that for granted, too. And yeah, I mean, you see exactly where that can lead.
Do you feel like you could be sued again by him for defamation?
I'm scared that no matter what I do, no matter what I say or how I say it, every step that I take will present another opportunity for this sort of silencing, which is what I guess a defamation lawsuit is meant to do.
Yeah, it's supposed to mean that you can't go around destroying somebody's life with what people can see are false accusations. And yet, you're saying you want to move on with your life. You're afraid that he's going to do something. Well, just stop. Stop. How hard is that to stop? I mean, gosh, that is so frustrating. You know, it's frustrating on the part of NBC News because even though we're looking at this, even though we're reacting to it, this would be the same as Chris Brown getting a microphone after what he did to Rihanna. But hey, they don't want to see it the same, do they? Because male victim.
It's meant to take your voice.
But Amber is still speaking just days after a jury stunned many and found the actress defamed Depp in an op-ed where she said she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. The piece, which never mentioned Depp by name, was...
They're still playing that whole thing. Never mentioned by name. Again, didn't have to mention him by name. People only had to draw inference and say, well, that's about JD.
Published 2 years after the couple announced they had settled their divorce. Life had seemingly moved on, and you decide to write an op-ed. Why did you do that?
Because the op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny.
But it alluded to.
It so was about it, actually. And if you really want to see if it was or not, go back to the ACLU letters. They detail everything that they were plotting behind the scenes, and there were entire paragraphs about the man. I mean, this is an absurdity for her to say.
Him.
It
was unmistakable.
What the op-ed was about was, me loaning my voice to a bigger cultural conversation that we were having at the time.
Did you worry?
Yeah, but she stole the voice from other people. That's what we saw there. She didn't loan her voice to a certain hashtag there. She stole someone else's voice. She stole what happened to someone else, and she branded her name atop it.
Gosh, I'd love to be a person weighing in on these cultural issues, but that's going to stir this all up again.
I obviously knew it was important for me not to make it about him or to do anything like defame him. I had lawyers, teams of lawyers, review all the drafts of this.
When you wrote this,
well, then, I guess all of you were wrong, weren't you? The funny thing about this, too, is that she says, well, I actually wanted to tone this down. I knew better. No, she didn't. If you go back to the deposition of one Eric George, I can go over that live. If you've never heard of it, just let me know in the comments. He was her lawyer at the time. She wanted even more about him, and she was warned, JD, he's litigious. He will sue you over this. And she decided, hey, I'm going to do it anyway.
Op-ed, it was the height of Me Too. Legions of powerful men being canceled, losing their jobs. Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what's crazy is in 2018, she was texting Christian Carino. She was telling him how much she still loved JD. She even texted JD happy birthday that year, only to be doing this stuff as well. I mean, behind the scenes, she had been plotting this stuff for months. So you tell me what exactly she was trying to do.
Of course not. It wasn't about him.
Oh,
but the op-ed and the abuse alleged was at the heart of the 6-week trial.
Just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in it felt like my eye.
Heard testified that
was the wrong side of her face, actually. She just pointed to the wrong side of her face.
the final straw came after a violent fight in May 2016. 6 days later, she filed for a restraining order, cameras capturing her as she left the courthouse. But Depp's lawyers convinced the jury Heard was lying about the abuse. Police who responded to the 2016 incident testified during the trial that they didn't see any injuries and that Heard declined to file charges.
This was
4 sets, by the way. Or 2 sets, 4 police officers, by the way. It wasn't one police officer. There were 2 police officers that came originally. 2 more police officers came later. All of those people, they testified nothing seen. And they tried to twist that into wasn't enough to file. Wasn't anything at all. But hey, right?
a hoax, is according to his team. Why didn't I cooperate with the police? As I've testified before, and I will stand by until my dying day, I didn't want to cooperate with them. I didn't want this to be out. I didn't want this to be known.
You wanted bargaining power because when you're trying to get somebody, you're trying to blackmail them, you want them to pay you $600,000 a year, and you want them to do it forever. You want 3 penthouses, and you want them to pay for it forever. What you need are bargaining chips, and there is a piece of paper that proves exactly what I'm saying from a lawyer.
I didn't want to cooperate with them because I didn't want this to be, I didn't want to get him in trouble. If it was a hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later, you went to court and it came out.
5 days later, I made the decision to stand up for myself and protect myself.
Yeah, 5 days later, when you look at her letter, hey, I'm going to file this letter. If you don't give me what I want by the 27th, then we're going to go in, we're going to file, we're going to ruin you. And that's exactly what they did.
Can't get a restraining order in private, which of course I didn't understand the night when the cops were called.
An employee of TMZ testified at court and said that TMZ was tipped off about when you were going to be going to the courthouse and on what side of your face bruises would be apparent. Did you tip off TMZ?
I was going to say, he certainly didn't get tipped off by me or anyone in my...
you know tip off TMZ?
Why would they? No.
You ask no.
Why would they? I mean, really, did you seriously ask why would they? Why would somebody send in a cabinet slamming video? Because number one, it gave you bargaining power, powerful bargaining power. And number two, somebody tried to walk away from you, and how dare they walk away from you, right?
No one to do that.
As I testified to before, it had nothing to do with me.
There are different incidents that you testified to, and the Depp legal team would put up pictures of you publicly right after that or in the days following and saying that why are there no bruises?
Again, it's that thing. If you have bruising, if you have injuries, it's fake. If you don't have any, then you weren't injured.
You had promised to.
Yeah. So, when you can see everything but somebody's big toe, and there's like, well, no. I'm hiding some. Somebody sat on my back and they did terrible things to me. Well, I can see your entire back. No. You're just questioning me because I'm not the perfect victim. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And on the pictures that we had, by the way, yeah, interesting how you get two of those that are uploaded. Those, of course, you can tell have been through things like Photoshop, but hey, reality, right?
To donate the $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so.
Of course, it's going to be JD's fault, right?
Yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
I made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature. And
when you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you've donated it, not that you've pledged it. So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
I don't know, because I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call.
Of course it is supposed to cast aspersions on who you are as a human and your credibility, because that's how you prove that somebody built a hoax crime. You say, this person lied about X, this person lied about Y, this person lied about Z. So if they lied about Z, then they lied about me.
Call me a liar in every way you can. And
that was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
And
that was it.
This is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that.
You should, because you said you did. You traded it for clout. In fact, the only reason that we found out about this stuff at all is because JD brought it up. It was funny too, because if you track this trial from its very beginning, she wouldn't come off of that information. She forced him to go through everything to get this, and it was insane. I mean, she had been trading in clout. Even the judges that were involved, the judge in LA, when it came to the CHLA, was asking, why don't you guys just come off this information since you're saying that you did donate it? See, that's the thing. They were playing the game that they did donate it behind the scenes, and yet it turned out not to be real.
In order to have...
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did...
Right, which is where it was intended to go.
Heard says she still plans to honor that pledge.
How do you see your future now?
I get to be a mom. Like, full...
Weaponization, man. Hey, here's my future here. I get to be all of those things. And you're still sitting here. You're still attacking after you were found guilty. Why don't you go be those things then? Why are you still obsessed with JD after years? Why? Because he told you no? Why? Because he showed your real face to the entire world?
Time, where I'm not having to juggle calls with lawyers.
One day you may want to tell your daughter about this or have to tell your daughter about everything that you've gone through. What would you want to say?
I think no matter what, it will mean something. I did the right thing. I did everything I could to stand up for myself and the truth.
Heard and Depp's volatile relationship lasted just 4 years. Depp confirming his engagement to me on Today in 2014.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
Yeah, very. She's a wonderful girl. And she's
Run, JD. I wish I could go back in time and tell you, man, no, man, just go away and do anything, brother. But I'm glad you got out of that thing, and I'm glad you got out alive.
sharp as a tack, wonderful, Southern belle, and sweet as can be, and very good for me,
On the first day of the trial, you issued a statement, and part of the statement said, "I still have love for Johnny."
Yes.
Actually, yeah, she issued a statement that she wasn't supposed to issue to the world to try to poison the well. She did that on Instagram. That was something that was brought up apparently in meetings. She wasn't supposed to do that stuff. She did it anyway. In fact, them playing these types of games, trying to poison that well, actually caused them quite a few problems.
Is that still true?
Yes.
She still loves him. See, like I said, she's obsessed with the man. She's absolutely obsessed.
For everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love him. I loved him with all my heart. And I tried the best I could to make a deeply broken relationship work.
That's not how this works, by the way. If you'd been away this long, anyway.
And I couldn't. I have no bad feelings or ill will towards him at all.
Really? Oh, yeah. You don't have any bad feelings. You don't have any ill will. Despite the stories that you told, there's no animosity. That tells me that didn't happen at all.
I know that might be hard to understand, or it might be really easy to understand. If you've just ever loved anyone, it should be easy.